All right, everybody, we're back here on the break room with JB. And don't forget, like I said, this is episode number 10. This is a milestone episode, and I appreciate your support. And I beg, plead, whatever I need to do for your continued support. I know a lot of you probably didn't agree with that first segment, some things I said in there, but I hope that I gave you information information to go and find out for yourself or information to come back and bash me. That's okay, guys. But I did the research. Okay. It wasn't my opinions. It was the research. It was the facts. So listen, I know it's our 10th episode. And I told you at the beginning, now you can see us on the website. Now you can see us on, or see us on. Now you can get in touch with us on the website to find out all the podcasting sites we're on. You can go to Facebook. You can also now go to YouTube. Yes, this episode plus a couple others will be on YouTube. Now, I just wanted to talk about YouTube for a second. There were a couple episodes I recorded early on, and a couple people opted not to partake, which is fine. You know, that's up to them. Some of them said the file was corrupt or so forth, and I only was able to upload half of the episodes. So I'm really working on the other halves. Just give me time. I'll figure something out. So right now you have 2 half episodes and 2 full episodes up on the YouTube channel. It's the Break Room JB, or the Break Room with JB on YouTube. Please subscribe to that. Please leave your comments and so forth in the bottom. I will definitely read them. Not only that, you can reach us on Twitter now at RoomJB. That's what they had, I guess. At RoomJB on Twitter. Not much there right now, but maybe some thoughts. Hey, send me your ideas and so forth through there. And you never know. You might build an episode that we can talk about. All right. So listen, guys, like I said, I know a lot of you might not or might have gotten riled up in that first one. Well, guess what? I'm going to get you more riled up in this second one right here because this is going back to something we talked about as well. I know, like I said, today's episode 10, we're kind of hitting the reset button, going back to the roots. It's almost like a remembrance show of all the other ones we've done. I don't even know how to start this, to be honest with you, but I'm just going to say, all this fear that's happening that we just talked about, especially with the coronavirus in the first segment there, is being blown up on social media. All this misinformation or information that's being sent to us is leading us to get very, very angry. Okay, this fear is leading us to get very, very angry. And it's leading us to blame one another. Okay, the blame game is coming out. And the blame game is coming out pretty big on social media right now. Don't get me wrong. I kind of want to jump in on some of those comments and so forth on social media and not blame game, but just say, hey, listen, yeah, what you're saying doesn't make sense. Your numbers don't match up. Here's what this is. Here's what I found. As a matter of fact, a gentleman the other day was trying to prove that he was doing his death rate of the corona or blah blah blah. He said his point zero. What did he say? 0.01. No, excuse me. 0.0167%. And I'm like, dude, no. And he says it's simple math with exclamation point, exclamation point. I'm like, well, listen, that's simple math that my students can figure out. And after you divide, you have to multiply by 100 to get the percentage. So, I really wanted to say that, but I said it here. Got it off my chest. Feel better now. So listen, we're playing the blame game with each other. We're getting really angry. And what's unfortunate about this is during this blame game, during this angriness, and with the platform of social media, we brought politics into play. Politics and parties, which is stupid. It's just stupid that you're bringing that into play. I'm sorry. Politics and parties, and I know, and I said this before, this is my opinion, should not exist. Politics should, I'm sorry. Parties should not exist. Parties should not exist. Parties only drive division. Parties only drive division. If you imagine it, if you were able to think for yourself and not align yourself with one party or the other and have to vote down those beliefs and so forth, wow, you'd actually be able to vote your conscience. Now, and I'm not saying you don't, being aligned to a party. I mean, a lot of your beliefs and so forth might go according to that party, and you feel comfortable enough that you're going to classify yourself as one of them. And I say classify because I'm going to bring something up in a second. That's fine. In my opinion, I don't like parties. I don't like parties because they drive division. They say, hey, you're that person and you're that person. Well, wait a second. You're right. You're left. You're conservative. You're a liberal. You're a warmonger. You're a raising tax person. What are those? Those are labels. And remember, we talked about this in episode number 3, labels. Labels are stupid. Labels drive division as well. Think about it. If you go to the store, and I used this example before, you go to the store and you want a banana. Which one are you going to choose? There's Dole, there's Chiquita, which was one I couldn't remember before. There's Dole, Chiquita, gosh, I had the other one on the top of my head. There's other brands of bananas, but how can you tell the difference? Oh, they got their labels on them. So if somebody walks into the store and go, oh, well, I don't like Dole, or Dole's label doesn't look pretty enough for me, I'm going to go with Chiquita. Guys, it's a banana. A banana's a banana. Take the labels off, you wouldn't know the difference. Same thing with other fruits. Same thing with everything else on the shelf. I mean, I know sometimes, name brands taste a little bit better, or some people think, than the supermarket brand. But guess what? If I put one against the other, you can't tell the difference sometimes. They both look the same. They're both made of the same ingredients. What's the problem? Oh, they got labels. Oh, that's right. They're that person, or they're that brand, and they're that brand. I want that brand. I don't want that brand. That's supposed to be the cheap brand. I don't want that. Guess what? Saves you money. Tastes the same, if not just about the same. Go ahead and buy that more expensive one. Go for it. Waste your money. Labels stink, and labels are stupid. And going back into the political realm here, parties are effectively labels. You're being labeled one way or the other, either Republican or Democrat. I mean, we only have 2, unfortunately. So based on that label, or based on the way somebody identifies you, or based on the way you identify yourself, somebody's going to make an opinion of you right then and there, without listening to your ideas at all, without listening to any of your ideas, without listening to a thought that comes out of your mouth. If they don't like that label, they're not going to listen to you, even though you're associated with it. They're not. Just like in the grocery store. If you're labeled the generic brand and the other brand, the name brand's right next to you, there's those people that go, no, I'm not buying that off-brand stuff. Well, guess what? Just as good, saves you money. So same thing in politics, in parties. Just because when you come out and label yourself one way or the other, some people might just completely turn you off and not listen to you at all. Now, I want to read you something really quick that one of our former presidents said. Now, if you don't know John Adams was the second president of the United States. He was actually the first vice president for 8 years. Kind of a bitter man. I'm not going to lie. He was very type A personality, very full of himself in many ways. But I want to read you this quote that he said. "There is nothing which I dread so much as a division of the Republic into 2 great parties, each arranged under its leader and concerting measures in opposition to each other. This, in my humble apprehension is to be dreaded as the greatest political evil under our Constitution. Now, he wasn't talking about the Constitution as the document. This was said before then. He was actually talking about Constitution as far as our beliefs are, the way we were built, the way this country built itself upon. Okay, so he said right there, he goes, what does it say? My humble apprehension is to be dreaded as the greatest political evil. Greatest political evil. That's going all the way back to our second president. They saw it way back when. And why did they see it way back when? Well, they saw what was happening in England with the party systems. And they didn't want any of that over here. They really didn't. As a matter of fact, George Washington, let me pull this one up really quick for you. George Washington hated the idea of parties. Hated it. Alexander Hamilton even called political parties the most fatal disease of popular governments. The most fatal disease of popular governments. And guess what? It is a disease. And you can see it's doing, sometimes political parties and politics do more damage than any of the disease we've seen outside the bubonic plague. So, unfortunately, with this, COVID going on, people are angry, are scared, which turns into fear, and then pull politics into this. And then say, well, they're just doing this to pull this person down. Or, well, so-and-so isn't doing, such a great job. Guys, leave politics out of it. Leave parties out of it. Once you bring parties into it, you open a whole nother can of worms. Okay? You open a whole nother can of worms, and you create even more anger and just fuel and stoke that fire. I wish we didn't have political parties. Unfortunately, we do. That's not to say my ideas don't align with any of them. Absolutely, they do. But I like to take, my opinion and my thoughts, my feelings, and find out which side, if you will, unfortunately I have to say that, but which, person or which side matches the most of them. It stinks. I wish we could fix that, and I wish people would stop using parties to back up their arguments. Politics and parties are not facts. They're the farthest thing from facts you can get, okay? Trust me. Without going into everything that's going on, I mean, like I said, I'm in education, and we just heard from one of our top state officials recently, and wow, I just stood there and shook my head. Like, wow, unbelievable. And like I said, I don't lean towards any other side, but because we have two parties, I have to bring this up, is the fact that when this person came up and spoke, nobody from the opposition party, I don't say opposition party, I hate that word. I hate this. I hate saying that, because then they sound like enemies when we are both, or we are all Americans. We're all trying to fight, I guess, for the same goal in a sense. Some a little bit more than others, are out there and just a little bit more crazier than others and far-fetched and might lead us down a dangerous road. Obviously, I understand that. But so this person was up there, and nobody from the other side there, that sounds better than opposition. Nobody from the other side was there. So it was really a one-sided conversation backed up with one-sided opinions and one-sided evidence, if you will, and one-sided information. And it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. Not to say I don't, support my local state and my governments and all that. Absolutely. Absolutely. But that's the problem with politics. Problem with politics is parties. Once you have labels, you determine your side. Once you have sides, the other side is your enemy. Whether you like it or not, and you can say, "Oh, well, no, I don't, they're my friend," and they're not when it comes down to it. Not when it comes down to politics and government. Don't you dare tell me that they're still your friend. No, no, because you have to toe that party line. I, it's sad. It really is, and unfortunately, it's become even more prevalent nowadays with social media. Not only with the news that's going on, especially with COVID and all that, but it's become more prevalent. These party divisions and party lines become more prevalent in social media. And social media is a huge root of evil. We'll be right back here on the break room with JB, and we're going to get into that in segment number 3. We'll be right back. All right, we're back here on the break room with JB, and this is episode number 10. Like I said before, a milestone episode, and thank you again for your continued support. Don't forget, you can check us out not only on the website, thebreakroomjb.weebly.com, Facebook, now YouTube, The Break Room with JB. Just search that. Please subscribe and leave any comments you need to, or feel free to, say what you need to say. And also on Twitter at RoomJB, or the Break Room JB, I think it is. The Break Room JB. That's it. You can check us out there. Okay. Sorry, that's new, so I have to think about that for a minute. All right. So listen, guys, we ended the last segment right there, and I mentioned social media. And I'm sorry this is kind of getting into. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if this is therapy for me, this episode, but I'm hoping I'm kind of opening up some of your minds, if you will, and just getting you to think a little bit on this 10th episode, kind of going back to some of the things we've covered already since we started. I just hope that, the information I'm providing, and like I said, a lot of it is information. Do I throw my opinion in there? Yeah, but I'll tell you when I do. Okay. Now, we ended on, and we just talked about political parties and how that's driving a huge divide because people are starting to bring parties into their anger and their fear and their arguments. Where are most of these arguments taking place? On probably the thing that has caused the greatest divide in this country, social media. Social media has driven a huge divide into this country. If not this country, the world. Are there benefits to social media? Absolutely. And hey, listen, I just listed a whole bunch of social media sites for you to go and check us out on. I realize that, and I realize the irony of that. And I'm not saying social media is bad. The way it's being used is making it bad. Now, I wish when social media came out that there was a set of rules or a set of laws like the Bill of Rights. Okay, we founded this country. We gave ourselves a constitution. The first 10 things are the Bill of Rights. Awesome. Start with something. I wish that social media companies, anyways, had did that or done that when these platforms were invented. It would make everything a lot better, in my opinion. Okay, that's my opinion. But social media has driven such a divide in this country because it has brought fear into our homes directly 24/7, not just when the news comes on, all the time. It has brought anger into our homes and into our lives 24/7, not just when you run into somebody and have a disagreement or you see something on the news you don't agree with 24/7. It has also brought a lot of emotional and mental problems Um, and I hate to, mention this, but, you know, a lot of issues with school age children as well into our homes 24/7, where that stuff may have ended at school. And if you're not familiar with what I'm talking about, and, people might jump on my case, but bullying exists. It really does. Listen, are you kidding me? When I went to school, it was there. Was I a possible bully to some kids? Yeah, yeah, okay, absolutely. Were kids bullying me? Mm-hmm, absolutely. But we didn't have this constant communication, constant information flow, so it ended at school. We knew when we left that school that we were fine, we were safe, we're going home, it's over with. I'll deal with it tomorrow. But because of social media, not only has that reached into our lives 24/7, so has other people's anger, so has other people's fear or stoking of that fear, so has misinformation, so has lies, so has over exaggerations, so has fights, um, again, arguments. All this has been brought into our lives on a 24/7 basis. And not only into our lives, but intrusive. And if you don't know what that means, I'll give you an old, well, I hope you know what intrusive means, but I'll give you an old radio term that we used to use. I mean, radio media or advertising was called intrusive advertising because, hey, guess what? You're listening to the radio, that ad is intruding on your enjoyment of listening. You really have no choice but to listen to that ad. You can change the channel, but guess what? You're going to run into another ad over on that station too. So it it infiltrates our lives, and this social media has allowed all this garbage, misinformation, fear, anger, arguments, party politics, um, uh, the bullying and all that to enter our lives 24/7 without, even if we don't want it to, even if we don't want it to. The only other option you have is, guess what? Turn off your phone and lock it away. But you don't have another alternative to get in contact with people nowadays because most of us have gotten rid of our home phones because cell phones more accessible. In some cases, were cheaper, depending, and you didn't see a need for a home phone anymore to be wired up. So social media has really, really driven a divide here in this country, and all because of those things I mentioned. And I'll be honest with you, it's made us dumber. And I'm one of those. I'll be honest. I, there's some days I can't put it down, and I hate it. I hate not being able to do that, not being able to put down my phone, and it bothers me. It's almost like, I mean, some people are addicted to it. It's become an addiction. And the social media though platforms, these people are getting on there and spewing, and I say spewing for a reason, spewing not only their opinions, but misinformation, things they might have read just in a headline or heard from, somebody else that heard from somebody else, but they're going to take it as fact, and because they want to be the first one out there with it to get credit for it. But it's wrong, and you just might have hurt somebody else because you put it out there and it was a lie. It's destroying people's lives. It's destroying this country, to be honest with you, I think, and it's destroying us as a human race. I honestly think we've gotten dumber because of social media. Now, social media does have its perks. A lot of people have been able to keep in contact with family members that they wouldn't be able to, or share pictures and so forth of the family. I understand that that is the intention of social media, not what it has evolved into because of these people. And I say these people because it's not every person misusing social media. There's these people misusing social media to just spew garbage out of their mouth. Well, I wouldn't say their mouth, their keyboard, if you will, or their brains, It's either lies, frustration, anger, and a lot of cuss words on there that kids can see. It doesn't need to happen. And a lot of ignorance. A lot of ignorance is being displayed out there. And I feel sorry for the people that get their information, news, and whatnot from social media, because there are a lot of people that do that. And then those people are the ones that are arguing against other people because they think what they found out was facts. They didn't do any research. They just read somebody's comment or read somebody's post and said, "Oh yeah, that's gonna happen." Oh, that's got to be right. It's mind numbing to me. It really is that we've come to this point that we are such an advanced civilization. Think about this. We are such an advanced civilization, an advanced race, that we've come to the point where we destroy each other on social media, take things that we've heard and label them as facts and then spew it out there and so forth, say things that are absolutely ridiculous and post things that are absolutely ridiculous and maybe hurtful to others. And we've taken this great technology and turned it into, I don't even know, a dumb box, really. I mean, think about it. Guys, look at all the stuff that we've created in this world. Look at how far we've come. Yet, if any other civilization came down to this planet and got on our social media outlets and read half the stuff, and I'm not saying you as in you directly, but that half the stuff that people put on there and comment with, they're going to turn around and leave because they're going to think we're in the Stone Age. They're going to think we're like the chimps at the zoo sticking a stick in an anthill hoping for our dinner. They're going to think we're that dumb because we portrayed that on these platforms. So when you get on the social media, use it for what you're supposed to use it for. Don't use it to push an agenda. And now listen, I understand everybody's entitled to their opinion. That's, hey, the First Amendment, freedom of speech. I understand that. But listen, if you're going to use the first right we were given as Americans, the freedom of speech, please make sure that whatever you say, or if you're giving your opinion, if you're giving your fact, can be backed up, that you have evidence, or you have a story, or you have facts to back it up. Because then, really, you're misusing that First Amendment, the first right we were given as Americans. Yes, we can say whatever we want to say, absolutely. But listen, you'll be given so much more credit, so much more backing, and looked upon with a higher stature if you have evidence, facts, and proof to back up what you're saying. Don't get on here and tear somebody down. Now, listen, I was watching this meeting the other day, and not 5 minutes into this meeting that lasted 4 hours, and this is on excuse me, was it? Yeah, it was on Facebook, I think. These people are ripping the people in the meeting, are ripping them. The meeting hasn't even started yet. You don't even know what they're going to talk about. You don't even know the topics they're going to cover, but yet you're spewing the garbage out of your mouth and your opinions on nothing because you have nothing to back it up with. You're yelling at this person and that person and whatever, but you're not backing it up. Close your mouths. Listen to other people. Think about it. Form your opinion. Figure out how you can back it up. And then use your right to free speech. Now, I understand, yes, they had a right to say what they're saying, but it made them look ridiculous. If you want to be given any credit, if you want to be taken seriously, think before you speak. And social media, I know it's hard to do. Trust me, there's times that I type out huge paragraphs in response to somebody that I am trying to, I'm getting, but I stop for a minute and say, how's this going to make me look? Do I have the evidence and facts to back it up? Yeah, I do. But guess what? If I post this in response to this person in a nice way, not attacking or anything like that, just saying, hey, listen, what you said, not really true. Here's the facts, and close, but no cigar. Do you know how many people jump and attack me for posting and commenting on that other person's? A whole bunch, probably. It's ridiculous. It really is. And there's no fix to it. I'm not offering a fix. Because I don't know, and I don't think there's a fix to it. The only thing you can fix to it is produce rules for social media, but then I guess you take away, the essence, the true essence of what social media was. Now, I wanted to. This is one comment that I saw, and obviously I'm not going to say the person's name or anything like that, but this was in regards to schools opening back up, and there's plans in place, depending on the virus level and so forth and so on, the certain counties and districts and whatnot. But I want to back what I've been saying up with evidence. Like I told you, back everything you say up with evidence. Back how social media has become, this great divide and has made us not so bright of people. Well, here we go. This is a comment in regards to some of the plans in place to go back to school. Ain't nobody about to risk their life because y'all want us to learn. I'll read that again. Ain't nobody about to risk their life because y'all want us to learn. I'll let that sink in for a minute. So, what you're saying is you think we want you to learn. We're forcing you to learn. Okay. Well, according to your grammar in there and in that comment, and I did check out the Facebook page, and it was atrocious, by the way. The language and other things that were on that Facebook page, and I understand the freedom of speech and expression and everything else, absolutely. But ain't nobody about to risk their life because y'all want us to learn. Don't you want to learn? Don't you want to become better? And I'm not saying to get into the schools or anything like that. I'm just in relation to this comment that was left here. It just baffles me. It baffles me. And there was another comment, as a matter of fact, that this person wrote saying how they feared for their kids' health every day, sending them to an enclosed environment for blah, blah, blah hours, and people and other kids and the germs and the people they deal with and come in contact with, and then going home and not knowing who they come in contact with while away from school, and blah, blah, blah. Where was your concern during normal cold and flu season, by the way, when a lot of parents send their kids to school wiping the snot on their clothes, all congested, running a fever. Do you know how many people send their kids to school running a fever, guys? It is so sad. It really is, because it breaks my heart. It breaks my heart to see how sick some of these kids are and being sent to school just because their parents told them they had to go or put them on the bus. I mean, I've had kids come in and completely just put their head down right away, and it looked like they were on death's door, even though they weren't, thank goodness. But it's just amazing. All of a sudden now, because we have this, what did I say? 1.17% of the population, or 1.6 of the county population, has coronavirus. Now you're worried about who your kids are coming in contact with and all the germs. Well, have you sent them to, or have you taken them to a grocery store? Have you taken them to water park? Have you taken them to, another enclosed area, another store during this whole time? Probably. Well, they're coming in contact with people there too. I know not direct contact, I understand that. But guys, listen, social media, getting back to the real point here. I'm sorry, I kind of went off on a little tangent there. But social media has to be used correctly. Unfortunately, it's being used to stoke this fear, to stoke this anger, to drive division between people based on their party affiliations, their beliefs. It's got to stop. Like I said, don't have the answer for it, don't know how to do it, but it's got to stop. Maybe the best way to do it, if we could get people to boycott social media, and I know that's going to be hard for a certain amount of time, that might work. But you can't boycott social media completely, because now you've got to check out our YouTube channel. You like that segue? Don't forget, our stuff is on YouTube, guys. Twitter also at RoomJB is the Twitter handle there, at RoomJB, or the Break Room JB, just the Break Room JB on Twitter. So yeah, I don't have an answer for social media. I just wish people would use it more, and I really do think I don't think it's a necessary evil. I don't think we need social media. It was a good idea when it started out, but like I said, it evolved, and people evolved it into something harmful, something divisionary, something that that is just makes us look ridiculous as a human race. Makes us look ridiculous. And I wish I had a fix for you guys. I really do. I wish I had a fix for all this stuff that we talked about today, but I don't. I hope, anyways, you came out of today with just a little bit more information, just a little bit more insight, and I hope I made you think a little bit. I know, like, I had Joe Jenkins, my good friend, on a couple times. He makes me think, and I hope today that I made you think a little bit by not simply standing up here, not simply sitting here giving my opinion, but actually giving you the facts, the numbers, the information that you might need to better formulate your opinion or to make you feel better, guys. I want this fear to go away. Too many people are scared. Too many people are scared, I think, for the wrong reasons. And not to say, like I said, that this virus isn't real. It is. It's real. Trust me. I know. I know people who've had it. But just take a breath. Take a breath. Take a breath. Think about what they're trying to tell you, the media, that is. Think about what this stuff means. And turn off those notifications, guys, because I'll tell you what, that's what makes me the saddest, is when I see these things come in every single day, these bings. And it's like I said, sports scores. Number confirmed, number of deaths. That shouldn't be happening. These are people's lives. Don't report that. Do they do it during flu season? No. Do they do it for heart disease? Cancer? No. But I bet you, though, if they did it for cancer and if they did it for heart disease, and especially if they did it for cancer, there'd be an uproar in this country about posting those numbers. So I hope we gave you a little bit to think about today, guys, on the 10th episode of the Break Room with JB. Please, please continue your support anyways, and thank you for your support up until this point. Hopefully that'll continue. Don't forget, like I said, you can check us out on the website, thebreakroomjb.weebly.com, Facebook page, The Break Room with JB, YouTube, The Break Room with JB, and at Room JB on Twitter. So, guys, I will see you next time on episode number 11. That should be Monday. Yeah, Monday. Sorry, I lost track of days. So I will catch you next time, guys, on the Break Room with JB. Remember, breathe in, breathe out. Take it easy. Don't get so scared. Have a good one, guys.